Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. And this is part two of me recorrecting in a different way the color for this particular image. Um, and hopefully you've seen the previous video to this where I explained I made a big oops. I went with the guided coloring and it made one side of the image way too green. I ended up not liking it, ended up changing it completely. So I'm going back and doing it completely different way. So if you did not see the other video, um, go back and look at that one because that explains how to use the layer in order to erase one layer or erase part of the picture so that we can do the colorization on these pictures. As you can see, I've got the second layer is just the clouds and the right hand side of the screen or the image. And then when I bring both layers into view, it's the entire picture. But I'm going to work on the color for just our devil and stuff over here. So I'm going to make sure that my blue box is on the whole image up here in the corner. And then I'm going to come over here to adjust, and I'm going to adjust the layer. So don't need to worry about white balance. Um, I've already played around with the sharpness and all of that stuff at this point in time, um, and the noise reduction. So basically what we're dealing with now is just exposure, brightness, contrast, clarity, vibrance, saturation. Now these controls are a little bit different than in the guided. So we still have hue, saturation, and lightness. Um, and I will probably deal with just color at this point. I may fine tune it a little bit, but what we're looking at is just this side. We want to make just this side of the picture the way that I want it. So we're going to start off in hue, and I know I got more out of the orange than I got out of the red. I do want to zoom this up just a little bit so that I'm looking at my guy here. So if we go in with the orange and deepen that up, and we come in with a little more red, see if the yellow is going to affect it very much. And it's not. We're going to zero that out. It's kind of cool, but it's washing out the devil. See, I really want to get him red, and I want to get some more green on the mountains. So anything this affects over here will be in a different layer. We'll adjust that layer separately. So I want to get the green into the mountains, like rich green. Which will also help bring the red out a little bit. We'll see if the aqua does much of anything. And then I'm going to move over to saturation. And I'm going to start with the green. Because if we super saturate that green, might want to skip back to hue and go down a little bit on the green. Because we saturated it so much. So you can kind of bounce back and forth in between these things to see what you're getting color-wise. And I'm actually going to go into the lightness on the green too, because I just want to kind of focus on that momentarily. Now remember, I'm only looking at the part of the picture that we erased on the other layer. So I really kind of want to get this part here exactly where I want it. So I'm going to go back to the saturation and I'm going to start with yellow and see what the yellow does for it, which kind of makes his gold pop on his little chest plate and little shoulder plates. And we'll see what the orange does as far as saturation. I don't want to wash anything out. I want to make it nice and deep. That almost gives it a pinky look. So and then we can go over to lightness. And we can kind of see what we're getting with the yellow. Brighten that up with the orange. You see, you can affect the photo in a lot of different ways. I think that red might be a little too dark. I think I'm happy with it like that. Let's play with the brightness a little bit. And maybe the contrast. See if the contrasts adjust anything. Kind of makes everything stand out a little bit. That was too much. See if we get anything out of clarity. So this is just step by step moving through what we're looking at. Vibrance. Overall saturation of the picture. I think we need a whole lot there. I am going to check sharpness um, just a little bit. See if we get much of an effect out of that. See, we're starting to wash things out. So we don't really want to mess with sharpness too much. I might give it just a little bit. And then in this section, there is a luminance. Sorry, my pronunciation is not the greatest. Um, and this has to do with noise reduction. You see what it's doing to those mountains in the background? It's like blurring them out. And I don't want that. Now, if I put some luminance in there and try the detail, see what that does. Like I said, I am playing around. I am no expert in this stuff. Um, Now, when I changed the detail, that was pretty cool. Now, if we do the texture is not really affecting it at all. And then we do have a color and a detail down here too. Which I don't really care for, but I want to see what the detail does. Not a whole lot, so we're going to leave those alone. And now we could go up to exposure. See if we want to expose it slightly, which I think does look kind of cool. Too much. Just a little bit. And then we're going to click on OK. And now we're going to highlight this layer and make it visible. Okay, so we have them in the wrong order. So all I do is take this one, click on it, grab it, and drag it down. Now, this is the bottom layer, and this is the top layer, which is what we wanted. Now we're going to deal with this section in the next. Well, I think we're all right. Let's deal with this section. So we're going to highlight this layer, make sure our blue box is around it, and we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to adjust just this layer. So same thing. I don't think we need to worry about white balance, and we'll play around with the colors. And I think what I want over here is a little bit of blue and maybe a little bit of, because there's a little bit of blue up there in the sky that I really kind of want to accent, and a little bit of purple maybe. Oops, we're on saturation. We should be, I mean, reset those to 0. We need to be on hue first. Let's see what aqua does. Aqua brings us a little bit of, but not really what I want. Blue is not doing a whole lot either because there's just not that much blue in here. But I can blueing up the clouds up there. And that actually brings them a little bit more purpley. So it's all play. It's all play. See what happens. Now if I bring the purple in, and I bring the blue up, and I bring the aqua up, now we've got kind of a cool light purple up there. I'm gonna see what we get. Ooh, that kind of got cool. See if we need any orange in there. Nope. So now we'll play with saturation. Uh, Get green again. Want it all green. So if we bring the aqua, a little more aqua in some of those spots. Bring in the blue. Ooh, that's kind of a cool blue. What are we going to do with purple if we do purple? Not affected a lot. So we're going to leave the purple alone. And then we're going to do our lightness. Sometimes you just got to slide these things around and see what it does. Kind of like that being a deep blue up there. Purple's really not giving us much of anything there. So we'll put that one back to 0. And now remember we did the luminance on the other one, and we had to put some in there and then take the detail up. Should probably get a little bit of zoom so I can see what we're dealing with here. But thank you guys again for hanging out with me. I did want to take a second. These are up on the website, Kaosivity mugs. I've got them in black and white. These are 15-ounce mugs, so it's a nice big cup of coffee, nice big cup of tea. Not quite a flagon for beer if that's your preference, but they are available on the website. And if you'd like one to take home, you can. Kaosivity.com. Go into the market, because that's where everything is for sale in the market. Why wouldn't it be? So if we bring up our brightness just a little bit, Let's see what we get out of contrast. Probably okay on the contrast. Clarity, do we get anything out of clarity? Not really. Get a little bit in the background, but yeah, we can play with our, oops. No, we don't want that. Sometimes you just got to slide these things all the way up just to see how it affects the picture. And we might add just a little bit of exposure, just like that. And now let's see what we've got. Got the deep greens and the rich reds over here, and this stuff looks like it's in the distance. It's like night and day, which is kind of what I wanted in this picture. So I am going to merge those layers, go to layer setting, merge, and now it's all one picture. I've messed around with it. I've gotten more of what I wanted color wise. So I'm going to save this with the more options, and we are going to call this one step 5. Well, whoops, not 45, although it feels like step 45 sometimes. And we're going to move on from there. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I love doing this kind of thing for you because it shows that you don't have to be an expert to be creative. Just be creative. Let the chaos out, and we will catch you on the next one.